Hello and welcome to Elections Updates. I'm Tom Harvey.
And I'm Suna Yokes, and you're joining us for the very first episode of Elections Update, brought to you by Guild TV.
Be sure to stick with us all week as we bring you daily news every morning on the Guild elections.
But today our theme is what are the Guild elections, and we're going to be joined by the Vice President of Education, Arma, and the Head of News at BurnFM, Lockyer-Stevens.
For those of you not aware, campaigning for this year's elections has started, and last Wednesday the banner dropped in Mermaid Square.
And if you haven't noticed already, the campus has been filling up with cardboard showcasing the candidates' creativity.
Voting is now open, so for the more informed of you out there, just go to guildofstudents.com/vote, where voting will be open until 4 p.m. on Friday the 6th of March.
And if you're still not sure who to vote for, then worry not. You can check out all the candidates' profiles at www.guildelections.co.uk.
And be sure to check out our 60-second character profiles on the Guild TV YouTube page.
In the Guild elections, you will be electing 7 full-time sabbatical officers, as well as 11 part-time sabbatical.
And there are also 11, yeah, never mind, you've already done that. However, it is debated on whether or not students know enough about Guild elections. So we'll be going to a video Dominic Ryder made this week, finding out what students really know.
Hello and welcome to Inside Elections, the first of a daily series brought to you by Guild TV's election update coverage. I'm Dominic Ryder.
Guild Elections is a massive event spanning the entire week, but unfortunately the question that is going to be on most students' lips isn't who you're going to be voting for, but what are you going to be voting for.
Guild elections are a big part of the university calendar year, spanning the entire week with 7 sabbatical and 11 non-sabbatical positions available. But unfortunately, most students just don't know what they're voting for.
It seems to be a common problem that first-year students aren't made aware of what the Guild elections are or what the roles include. So I thought I'd ask a few students about what they really knew about the Guild elections.
I know that they run around this time of year. They open on Monday, I think, and you just put preferences, something like that. Not a lot, to be honest.
Not an awful lot. How much do you know?
I don't know a lot.
I've seen a lot of the banners around, but no, it's not been really an explanation.
Yeah,
None of my
seen
seminars, lectures, could have been a lot more done about it.
Seen a few campaigners, but that's it.
Truthfully, I don't know as much as I probably should, considering the amount I'm actually involved with the Guild.
Very little.
Not very much at all.
Nothing. Yeah, not a lot, no.
I've seen a couple of things on my BHAM and on the Guild's website, but I wouldn't really say I know a lot. I've had a couple of people come round to lectures, but yeah, I'd be lying if I said a lot.
I know that there are elections that take place in the Guild. They're for, electing the officers, all the sabbatical officers and the non-sabbatical officers. I don't know when they happen, but I know it means that the campus gets covered in colourful posters with gimmicks on them rather than policies.
From hearing what people are saying, it's clear that they really don't know what they're voting for. So you can visit guildelections.com to find out more information. Voting opens today at 10 a.m. and closes on Friday, so please, quickly, find out more information. Visit that website and find out what you are actually voting for.
Thanks very much for that, Dom, and we're now joined in the studio by Arma. Thanks a lot for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And just going back to Guild Elections 101, really, what are the elections all about for students that may know nothing about it?
So the Guild every year has 7 full-time officers and 11 part-time officers who are elected at this time of year to lead the officer team, to lead the work of the Guild throughout the next academic year.
Seems pretty standard then, pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
What should students really be looking for in their sabbatical officers?
I think you need to look at realistic policies. I think anyone can promise the world. I think it's about what they can promise is good but also achievable. I think it's also about making sure that kind of what their personality and character is like as well. I think being an officer, some things get thrown at you and you don't know what you're doing. It's a completely new, bizarre situation, and it's how well you react to that. Sometimes it responds to sort of how well you can work as an officer, I guess.
How important do you think it is that the candidates have a presence on campus in terms of maybe cardboard or even making videos that potentially could go viral and be seen for students across the union?
I think it's really important. I think it's a really useful way of getting people talking about elections. Certainly second and third years that I know notice when elections come back onto campus, however much involved they are in the Guild elections at all. I think it's quite important to have a presence, but you can't solely rely on cardboard signs and funny videos. I think the hardest and the most important thing is actually going out and talking to students about what your policies are and what you do as an officer.
And what really got you into being a sabbatical officer?
I want to say by accident, but that's a complete lie. I was involved in my college students' union, kind of did a year there as the president of the students' union there part-time, and came to university, said I wasn't going to do it again. Like, I'd done that, been there, done that, and actually ended up doing it again, fell into it by complete accident. Potentially.
But enjoying it.
Massively so. Like, it's one of the most rewarding jobs in the world to do, and you know, I'm getting paid to work in an organisation which I spent all my time in anyway when I was meant to be studying, so it's really good.
Have you got like a specific thing you're most proud of that you've achieved while being
I think, so at the moment we've got the Outstanding Teaching Awards, which are open at the moment. One of my big manifesto points is about rewarding and recognising members of staff who are really good at what they do in terms of teaching. We don't really spend that much focus on that here, and actually the university has just launched the Outstanding Teaching Awards. Nominations are open until Friday 27th of March, so...
Nice, that's quite a while to vote for people there.
Oh, it's to nominate people, but yeah...
nominate well.
Yeah, but yeah.
And what advice would you give to students who have never been part of guild politics, or haven't really been that involved in the guild, but would like to campaign? I
mean, get involved. I don't think you need to be part of the guild clique, part of the guild bubble, know what's going on. As a student of the University of Birmingham, and you think you've got an idea about how you can change that and you're passionate about changing it, then that's exactly what you need to do. You need to sort of have that as sort of a basis for doing that, and everything else can fall into place. You get a lot of training as an officer, and you know, some of the best officers are the ones who have new ideas from outside the guild.
And what do you think is the best part of being an officer?
I'm not going to say free fab, but I think for me it's really nice. Our officer team get on really well, and it's basically the 7 of us, and it's coming to work. You get to work with your friends every single day, and that's a really nice sort of thing to look forward to. I still look forward to coming into work on a Monday, which is a privilege for some people. Yeah.
Thanks for talking to us.
No problem. Thank you.
And we're now going to be heading over to a short video from Holly, who's going to be telling us about the banner drop in Mermaid Square.
I'm here on main campus where the banner drop is about to take place to begin the official opening to this year's campaigning. Guys, how excited are you about today?
So excited, we've got hundreds of buttons.
Very excited, it's good for the campaign to actually start now.
It's lovely weather actually, which is nice, so hopefully lots of fun.
Well, it looks like we've had a fantastic start to this year's campaigning. I'm Holly Bennett on campus, back to you in the studio.
Thanks for that, Holly. We're now joined by Lockyer-Stevens, who is the head of news at BurnFM. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So to start off, do you think that students are engaged enough in the guild elections currently?
I think there's certainly no escaping that guild elections are happening. I think.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere.
It's pretty obvious. Yeah, we can certainly see from the cardboard across campus. But I think perhaps people don't really know what they're voting for, or perhaps don't quite understand the guild's role within the student experience and how it affects students' lives, both within the guild and the university. So I think cardboard may encourage people, it may or may not encourage people to vote, and voter turnout. Voter turnout, we've seen, very much depends on the number of candidates. So in years when there's been fewer candidates, fewer people have been encouraging their friends to vote and things like that, which suggests that maybe people aren't quite voting for the right reasons.
What do you think is the best method of promoting people's policies? Do you think it is the presence on campus with the cardboard, or do you think it's going and door knocking, talking to people? What do you think is the most effective way of reaching
It depends on whether or not people are voting for you because of your policies. And I don't think that's restricted to guild elections. I think that's democracy in general. Personally, for me, I would like to speak to the person who is running for that position. The cardboard and things like that don't really make much of a difference. It's nice to look at things online so you can have some time yourself to have a read through of different policies and things like that, but it's different for everybody. Some people may just feel obliged to vote because they need to get involved in democracy, particularly wide-eyed freshers and things like that, but may not think forward enough to actually deeply delve into what people's different policies are.
Getting on the point of information, what do you think that, what did Burn pretty much do to get people informed on the Guild elections?
So we've worked really collaboratively this year with you guys at Guild TV, along with the student newspaper Redbrick and the Photographic Society, to put together the Guild elections hub, which I understand is what people are looking at this video on now.
Yes.
So we've got the brilliant 60-second clips put together by Guild TV. At Burn, we've interviewed candidates, kind of grilled them on their policies a little bit more. Redbrick have been writing things up and building the wonderful website that you see in front of you. And Photostock, of course, have been snapping pictures of all of the candidates. So a great collaborative effort. And I think it's because it's led by students. So previously, Guild marketing have worked towards kind of advertising campaigns for students. But it just helps to bridge that gap a little bit if everyone that's working on the whole effort is from the student body.
And well, because obviously with Burn being played around the guilds and Redbrick being really available, it makes it a lot more accessible information.
Yeah, and I suppose it encourages other people to get involved with something similar, because they can see us doing it, so why not do it yourself?
And how do you think that the elections have evolved since the first time that you experienced it being on campus?
I've certainly noticed it more. Since working for the Guild and being so involved in the Guild, I've certainly cared a lot more about what Guild elections are. But like I said a little bit earlier, when I was in first year, I was like, oh my goodness, democracy, this looks like so much fun. I'll go and vote for someone who has the coolest cardboard or the coolest whatever, or came and gave me sweets at my halls. So probably, again, as I said, probably wasn't voting for quite the right reasons. And I think that's indicative of people across the UK, really. And we've got the general election on our doorstep. How many young people, how many young students are going to vote? How many are not going to vote for the Lib Dems because of tuition fees? Are people voting for the right reasons, or are they voting on impulse, or because they like the face of the person who represents that party or those policies? So it's a difficult one.
It is because there's quite a lot of gimmicks that people have, and there's nicknames and slogans and handing out sweets. So it does seem like there's not really much voting for the candidate's manifesto and more just for the person themselves.
Perhaps.
It's a bit of an odd one.
Perhaps, yeah. It's a difficult one, because you would want people to vote for your policies, but you want them to remember you as well. So you have to have some sort of gimmick alongside them.
Remembered like couple kind of stuff. So yeah, I saw one of the candidates like walking around with I think an A board over them today, actually saying "Ask me anything." So I think that's actually quite a good way of getting out there, and then also being able to talk about your policies.
That's true, and the presidential debate was last week, which was streamed live on Guild TV, and gave people an opportunity to delve a bit deeper into what these candidates represented. But I think it's probably the minority of people who really look that closely to what people represent, which is a shame, but no surprise, and not indicative of, not representative of just students, I don't think.
Oh, well, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today, but join us again tomorrow for the next episode of Elections Update at the same time of 10 a.m.